Yurtsever, host of the Formula for Creating Value podcast. Today, my guest is from Spain and Innovation and Technology Scout, Mrs. Işıl Top-Martinez. Welcome, Işıl.
Hello, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure for me to be here today.
Thank you. We finally made it. You have a material science and engineering with chemistry minor diploma from Sabancı University, right? And then you had your doctorate on nanotechnology and material science in Queen Mary University of London. So overall, you have like 7 years of applied R&D experience with the latest 4 years on innovation and technology, right?
Correct.
I'd like to ask, how did you decide on specializing on innovation, let's say?
Yeah, it's a very good question because my journey was never linear, although it looks like. So I started my PhD in Queen Mary University of London, and I was a very young researcher, and I thought that I could help save the environment by doing science. Obviously, it was from a very fundamental point of view with a very niche research area. I really enjoyed my research focus. It was about creating smart windows that would modulate the lights coming into building and block the light. So the idea was in summertime, you didn't have to use any air conditioner. And obviously, you wouldn't create any carbon dioxide emissions associated with that. So I enjoyed that work. But after 4 years hands-on research, I realized that I like also working on different innovation projects, and by doing hands-on research, staying in academia wouldn't let me do it. In the meantime, I attended several scientific conferences that would bring together university researchers as well as business. So we call it industry. So I've had an opportunity to engage with scientists from academia as well as startups and corporate environments that I really, really enjoyed. So it was great to meet like-minded individuals from different backgrounds. Their all motivation was to make an impact. So either from a startup point of view or corporate point of view. So that's why I decided to step away from the lab, doing very niche research and help innovators either to come up with ideas or find solutions or find research funding. Either way, I could help them rather than being the one creating these innovations. So I moved away from the lab and I wanted to explore the world beyond my lab. And in the meantime, I started to be more and more active in LinkedIn. So I started to post new ideas or new innovations generally about material science. And I started to grow a community of innovation people or innovation experts in the meantime. And I moved to innovation funding, consulting, but it was more about companies already did some research and then they needed to get more funding to continue. So it was my first step outside the lab, which gave me the opportunity to work in a business environment where everybody spoke 100% English. It was different because in the PhD, many of us were international people. So it was a good learning opportunity, but I wanted to see what else I can do with my background and my passion of helping innovators. So I moved to University of Cambridge as a technology transfer office, as a technology transfer expert, I would say. Obviously, I was not an expert, but I managed to use my PhD and ability of doing literature review and understanding the innovations. We call them inventions. So at that point, I learned how to read patents and I understood how technology transfer works. So the inventions arising from universities, obviously University of Cambridge is a leading university. So I get to know lots of very brilliant academics, postdocs, PhD students, professors. So getting really good ideas and how can we protect their intellectual IP, intellectual property, in the form of patents, copyrights, etc. And how once we file it, obviously liaising with patent attorneys and my managers and these academics, how can we use these inventions in real world setting? It can be through finding companies to license it to them, or starting spin-outs companies. And it's a different story afterwards. You have to have a team, and then you need to get funding. So I learned how the seed funds work and then move on. So it was a really, really interesting experience because I get to know lots of brilliant people, as I mentioned, and the process of filing patents until how to find licensees. So at that point, I got into marketing because I needed to prepare some marketing collateral to explain or showcase what is this invention, what does it solve, what is going to bring you. It can be like the amount of how much carbon dioxide emission can be reduced, how much revenue you can generate from implementing this solution. It can be anything, but about like creating value. So that was definitely a really, really cool experience. But again, I wanted to continue exploring what else by finding an opportunity to work 100% remotely, because we formed a family and I had a little child and we wanted to live abroad because I experienced the life in the UK, and why not exploring a modern digital nomad life. So I moved to a new field of open innovation, and I realized many of these aspects are actually all embedded. Like you cannot actually say, I'm just working on tech transfer, just working on innovation funding, just working on open innovation, because I met lots of people across different fields throughout this journey, and I realized that I could engage with many of them in very different points of innovation processes. So I met people from like my PhD or this tech transfer work, and now I'm working with some of them because sometimes I need to talk to some experts, or find some solutions. So that's my journey basically. And what I'm doing currently is I'm working for a company called Ezassi, where we are working with companies trying to find innovative solutions or ideas. How do we do that? Because these people sometimes have unmet business and technical needs. So I'm helping them to find innovative solutions that exist outside their walls. So the activities include finding novel creative solutions or subject matter experts. In this way, I'm able to use my skills in identifying novel solutions. For example, I was doing it with tech transfer work, or subject matter experts that really require some marketing skills. And again, finding that person could be the person with right backgrounds and capabilities. So that's my journey. I'm really enjoying, and let's see what future will bring.
Great. Well, actually, I was wondering. I mean, let's go back a little bit on the academy part. I mean, what I was actually surprised to hear that academicians, do they really like come up with some novel solutions on their own? I mean, like they're working on a project and they just think this is a good idea and they patent it, right? So they don't really like work on a brief or something like that. So this is whenever they think it's a novel solution or idea, so they patent it. This is how it goes.
Actually, most of the academic researchers focus on publishing papers, but not many of them know that they can file a patent on their publications, because they are very motivated by the number of publications, because it's important for their own reputation as well as track tenure promotions. Also being able to get more grant funding. But there are many universities which have also their technology transfer offices. So if the universities have very active technology transfer offices, and then their academicians are aware of the fact that they can get patents on their technologies. But as far as I know, actually about 1% or so of the patents are active. So actually they file the patents, but they don't do anything with that in the future.
Right. Okay, so thinking about the fact that you've been in many parts of the ecosystem of innovation, let's say, what are the institutions and roles, if you can name them, or mechanisms about innovation, other than, I mean, different than Turkey? Or because you mentioned about the academia, you mentioned about open innovation. I mean, so how do you see the landscape of innovation in Europe, let's say?
Yeah, I mentioned open innovation and technology scouting. So there are lots of platform or companies embracing different aspects of open innovation. So finding solutions outside their walls, and the companies such as Unilever has their own platforms for that. So they either post their problems or the solutions they are seeking for in their own websites, or they post challenges. So companies can reach out to solution providers through specific challenges. Also, I'm aware of venture accelerators. They work with startups and they develop strategies to accelerate their process of taking the products into markets. There are very good venture capitalists or successful venture capitalists are aware of different innovation trends or emerging technologies. I mentioned university tech transfer offices are pretty strong in the Western world, in the US as well as the UK, I'm aware of. I've spent a couple of years in the UK in this space, and I've seen that governments are very, very active in promoting university and industry partnerships. For example, there are some organizations like Knowledge Transfer Network or Innovate UK in the UK, helping these partnerships facilitated. Also, there are funding opportunities such as Horizon 2020. I know Turkey is a part of it,
right?
But the regulations keep changing, and there are always new funding opportunities coming up. This is what I'm aware of, but there are lots of funding opportunities just outside Horizon 2020 as well. So what I observed is actually outside UK, outside Turkey. Actually, UK, because of Brexit now, it's a part of similar story. So in Europe, I observed something really helpful to help the mobility across borders. So the Europe itself consists of so many countries without requiring any visa or creating a separate business plan or anything. You can just move across this boundary. That really, really helps attract talented people and culminate new ideas. In this way, they can create very large communities of like-minded innovation enthusiasts. They can support each other. They can start with, I don't know, with more funding maybe, or more ideas side. I don't know. It's just, I found it very easy for them compared to where I come from.
True. Well, definitely, and good, let's say, startups who believe in their potential, so they always look for funding opportunities abroad. I mean, unfortunately, in Turkey also. But when you think of when you work in Kini Partners, right? So how did it work for you, the innovation? So it's you were still going after, I mean, you had a specific area or sector that you were interested in, or those companies were finding you, or you were finding them?
Yeah, so I was an innovation funding consultant or R&D tax analyst. It was my first job after PhD, being in an office environment. So it was really interesting because I was able to engage with companies who are at the end of their innovation journey. So it was a part of a UK government initiative, and also it also exists in EU as well as US as well, if I'm not mistaken. So UK government particularly encouraged companies, small to medium enterprises, SMEs, or big corporations trying to find solutions to problems. So they really cared about if these companies took risk to overcome these technical and scientific challenges. So my role within this boutique consulting firm was to help these companies to get R&D tax relief. So these companies were at the end of their innovation journey, and they wanted us to be able to write technical reports to the UK government, as well as financial reports to the HMRC, which is the tax authorities of the UK. So my role was to understand if they really did projects in research, projects in science and technology, if they faced any technical challenges, was it obvious to see any solution to that? If it's non-obvious, then they were not eligible to get any funding from government. And if they employed qualified people. So I was there trying to understand if they did R&D, was in science and technology, and if they took any risk to overcome these challenges.
And your latest work, technology scouting, I mean, that's also quite a new term for me. I mean, and probably for some of the listeners. Can you tell us also how it works?
Definitely. As a quick recap, so I'm working for Ezassi, which is an innovation management software and services provider focused on helping our clients to find solutions to their unmet technical needs with innovative solutions outside their own walls. So these activities include finding novel creative solutions or solution providers, for example, a specific vendor who sells some specific product or raw material, as well as finding subject matter experts in specific fields. And we work with companies in science and technology from different fields. It can be food and beverages, materials, some hearing device, for example, creators, and different sectors. And I'm working with great clients on interesting projects. It's a shame that I cannot explain too much because of privacy. But sometimes from time to time, I see some news that the companies we recommend to these clients, they liked each other and they started to have some partnerships. So I see that my work is recognized. So I really like it. So what I really like about my current role in technology scouting is I'm here using my technical background, identifying solutions and innovations and understanding the problem or pain points of the client, and being there doing the business matchmaking. So it's literally matchmaking. So I like identifying what is there in the market. It can be in a startup developing a cell-based meat or autonomous vehicle or smart window, anything, or identifying an expert in medical devices or machine learning algorithms. These are just recent examples, and I'm there identifying them, talking to them, and making sure I introduce them to our clients, and then it's for them to continue.
That's interesting. So basically what Unilever does, they have their own portal, and they either specify there and publish their needs, and people are finding them. So you're acting like this intermediary position for your clients.
Actually, in Ezassi, we offer both software as well as services solutions. So we have our own innovation platform.
Okay.
So we either offer them license opportunity of our own platform. So in the platform, it's similar to Google, but it's driven by AI and ML. So we use specific keywords to run our innovation searches. We can identify innovative solutions or patents, publications, how many times keywords were mentioned in specific data sources. We can identify solution providers or subject matter experts. And what is cool about it is you can see the evolution of topic over time. For example, when you see in the past 10 years, one specific topic didn't exist until 2018. And all of a sudden, this emerging technology is becoming a popular trend. So it gives you a holistic idea or view of what is this emerging technology about. And you can see the investment opportunities and different news. We have startups information as well as some clinical trials were also recently added. So I'm using our own platform to help our clients. So I'm not in the licensing part. I'm more in the services side by using our own platform to get ideas and solutions and compile all this information with very, very thorough reports for our clients, presentations to our clients.
So you're sort of like using your technological background and knowledge, you're filtering those things out from whatever AI gives you, but you still somebody needs to, let's say.
Definitely.
Luckily.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you then see more of a trend of more and more innovations are coming from outside the organization? Is there a clear trend like that? Or, most companies maybe who are involved in manufacturing, they have their own R&D laboratories and so on. But there's also a huge amount of information out there. I mean, like where you can have access. I mean, and without any geographies. This is something more and more companies are accessing to this networks, and they are finding their own solutions there. Do you see a clear trend like that, or is it specific to some sectors or some industries?
We are finding solutions across borders. It can be in many, many different countries. It can be New Zealand, Australia, France, Iceland, US. So we are definitely not focused on specific geographies.
Do you have some Turkish clients, let's say?
We have Turkish solution providers. Recently, they sent us some samples to send it to our clients.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really exciting, actually. Over summer, I spent a couple of months talking to a vendor of a specific raw material. It was really nice.
Nice to hear that. All right. So then, based on your experience on innovation, what would you suggest to companies who are eager to innovate? What would you recommend them? I mean, where to start, or what are the tips, some useful tips?
If they're looking for finding innovative ideas or ways, I would tell them to be aware of emerging trends. So follow them. If they need ideas, they can always get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to help them. Definitely be aware of trends. There are new innovation trends such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, wearable devices, etc. And they are coming up. So definitely it will be important to be part of it. Otherwise, you are behind technology, and you need to be aware of new technologies.
Definitely, we are all, facing all these things. But I think the secret is in discovering in which way these technologies will be useful for your own business. So that requires some creativity, and that requires some matching the dots.
It's true. I would say you sometimes think that the idea you found is going to be groundbreaking, but then in a real sense, you see that there is no demand to that, because you missed a very important point. You haven't actually spoken to any single potential customer or user. So I would say listen to the potential user and understand the main pain points of the client. And then do some tests and see if it's going to solve any problems. Because what I observed that many innovators, for example, startups, claim that they have groundbreaking solutions, but in real world there is no need for that.
No such problem.
Exactly. So
solutions without problems.
Yeah,
definitely. All right. So my signature question of the podcast. So I'm going to ask, what is your formula for creating value?
I always thought that value is in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. So you might think that you have a very good solution that is going to bring value to the user, but you should listen to that user and understand what's important for them. It can be a mother trying to protect their kid. It can be a person using a specific software. When you offer a solution, you should definitely think if it's going to make their life easier. So that's the value for me.
True. It's just the needs are there, but it's sometimes unseen to most of us. I mean, like mostly, I mean, we just do variations of our products and different colors, different whatever. So this is how the mind works. I mean, it's on. Although the world doesn't need another white cup, I mean, like an extra white cup, but we keep on making this, multiplying these white cups.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of actually Steve Jobs. He really wanted to simplify everything. Uh-huh. Simplicity is the utmost sophistication. I really believe in that.
True.
So we don't need fancy features or fancy products. We just need simplicity. Maybe my point of view have changed since I became a mother. Mm-hmm. Maybe if someone from a different demographic, maybe they might come up with a different definition of value. Mm-hmm. For me, it should solve a really important problem, like make my life easy.
True.
As a user, yeah.
Okay, so how our listeners can reach you? What would you prefer to contact you through LinkedIn or email?
Thanks for this opportunity, by the way. I'm very active in LinkedIn. They can always reach out to me in LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone who is interested in innovation, processes, or how can they make their innovation searches easier, or even to have a chat about how do you work abroad. I'm more than happy to help people. Yeah.
It's very kind of you. Thank you very much for all this information and being in our show.
Thank you, and you're welcome.